Good evening. Are we live? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paschal Maire. On behalf of Navan District Historical Society, I pray you welcome to society members, friends, and especially to the Handley family who have travelled from the USA, UK, Dundalk, Waterford, Kilmessan, obviously, and many more places I've forgotten. We say very, very welcome. Very welcome to you. To help you relax and maybe get you settled in, and also to use the words of another famous Meath man, I'm just going to read you a little poem by F.R. Higgins, Frederick Robert Higgins, and it's called Father and Son, and it'll become obvious in the moment. Only last week, walking the hushed fields of our lovely Meath, now thinned by November, I came to where the road from Larracar leads to the Boyne River, that seems more lake than river, stretched in uneasy light and strip of reeds. I'm walking alongside an old weir of my peoples, but nothing stores, only the shadow-laden flight of a heron up the lean air. I went unmanly with grief, knowing how my father, happy though captive in years, walked last with me there. Yes, happy in me with me for a day. He walked, taking stock of herds, hid in their own breathing, and aiming colts, fusty as wind, one steer by his hand. Lightnings winked in his eye. There were half shy in greeting old friends, the wild blades, when he gallivanted the land. For that proud wayward man, now my heart breaks for that man whose mind was a secret eyrie, whose kind hand was the sole signet of his race, who curbed me, scorned my green ways, yet increasingly loved me, till death threw his grave blind down this face. And yet I am pleased that even my reckless ways are living shades of his rich calms and passions, witnesses for him, and for those faint namesakes with whom now he is one, under yew branches, yes, one in a graven silence no board breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, in the words of F.R. Higgins, I hope, yes, you will be happy in Meath with me for a day. And you'll be happy in Meath today with Navan District Historical Society. Handley collection, how did we get here today? Well, the special tribute has to be paid to one man. He's out there somewhere, Martin Oakes. Where are you, Martin? Stand up. Stand up. To be fair to Martin, he's a quiet man, but rather persistent. And he told me he had these slides many years ago, and he kept on at me. In Navan District Historical Society, we didn't have the competency, we didn't have the ability how to handle them and what to do with them. And we thought maybe we'd put them into a collection or we'd do something with them. Then all of a sudden, a man called Dominic Muldoon, unfortunately can't be with us today, joined the society, and he had the expertise. And Claire went out to see them, and yes, she said these are something worth looking at. And we decided to form a small committee to see what could be done. And out we went one winter's evening, last November, to the Oakes house, and you know the welcome that you get in that house. A lovely welcome with Maire and Martin was brilliant. And when Dom and I looked at these the slides first, we knew these are something different and something amazing. And on that night, I suggested maybe we end up here, and thankfully we have. One thing that we noted on the night was that the recognition, what we discovered was that these are original slides that have been used by other collections and other libraries and other institutions, but no recognition has been given to the Handley family for them. And the reason we know that the Handley collection is because the Handley people and family are in the photographs. And on that night, Martin and Maire emphasised, and Joe, who was there, Joe as well, Joe Handley, Maire's brother, wanted recognition for the Handley family for these photographs. And I think this is why we didn't display, we didn't show them. We wanted to do it here today for the very first time and put that originality, give them that originality. The format of today will be rather simple. We went out then and we got digital equipment and we started to scan these glass plates. You know the way when you put a piece of paper in the scanner today, it takes about 10 seconds to scan something? It takes 8 minutes with a specialised scanner to scan these digital plates. That's the intensity of them. We can't use the resolution of those because we'll be here all day waiting for them to load the set, and Clare has done a wonderful job reducing them. But that will give you an idea of the detail that's in these slides. And Dominic and Vincent and Clare were there, and to the Hanley House, and thank them for their fantastic reception. And we digitised all these, and that's why we have them here today. And we thank the Heritage Council and Meath County Council, and especially Dr. Crinion for the grant that we got for the equipment. And it's a great thing is to see this grant coming back and you get a free day and all this thing. The money has been used and we use it appropriately and brilliantly. Today we're going to run, the run of the day is we're going to have Maire introduce the family to you. The family that we've been seeing for the last 9 months. After that, Francis is going to talk about fashion and the fashion of the people of the day. And then I'm going to give you some idea of when they went on little visits to all the antiquities around the County Meath 130 years ago. And then we're going to have a break, and then Mairead is going to look at buildings that the photograph of the photographs they took, and Clare is going to tie it all up together with the social aspect of photographs. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Maire. She's one of the Hanley tribe, and there's many here today, and she'll give you a run through of where we're, the family and the photographs and everything else. Okay? Thanks very much.
First of all, I'm not used to using this, so bear with me if we make a few mistakes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maire Hanley Oakes, and my grandfather was Joseph Francis Hanley, a member of the Hanley family who lived at Knockboyne on the Dublin Road, Navan, in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The photographs being shown today are from that time. The collection consists of 4 boxes of photographic plates, and they cover a period in my Hanley family when they were living in the Navan area. My grandmother, Marguerite or Meg Hanley, acquired the plates when the family ceased to live in Navan in the mid-1920s, and she had them until they passed on to my mother in 1957 after her death. My grandmother talked a lot about the history of the family to my mother, telling her many a story and fact, along with conversations with my father to supplement. This proved to be a godsend, as my father Dermot died 3 years after his mother in 1960. He had no brothers or sisters, and so we had no one to make the link for us. But my mother Eileen repeated the stories over and over again, making them very real for us. And for any of you who knew my mother, you know what I'm talking about. How the photographic glass plates survived in our house is beyond me. They were a source of intrigue and mystery to us very young children, and we would take them out and scrutinise them and try to analyse the negative figures and images. We couldn't see the facial features, but we could see shapes and outlines. It was like trying to see through the veil. It did, however, spark a huge interest in what they represented. Then about 30 years ago, my mother gave them to my husband Martin Oakes because of the strong Navan connection. It is interesting to note that it was 3 in-laws who were the keepers of the photographic plates down through the years. Marguerite or Meg Hanley, Eileen Hanley and Martin Oakes. To them we are so grateful. The Hanley family, John, Philip and Teresa, moved to Meath from Dublin in about 1870, living in Churchtown House in Dunderry, where most of the children were born. In about 1880, they moved to Trinadaly House just outside Trim. Sadly, Teresa Hanley tragically died there, as did some of the children, and they are interred in the graveyard on the grounds of the house. The family then moved to Knockboyne House, Navan, sometime between 1883 and 1885, yet to be narrowed down. Knockboyne House is on the Dublin Road beside the Ardboyne Hotel at the Crossroads Junction by the turn to Johnstown. And some of you may know it as the home of where Doctors Paddy and Mary Randalls used to live. It has just recently been sold. The first photo is of a family wedding. No, we're not there yet. Get it right. Sorry about this. This worked perfectly earlier on.
Don't panic, Mark knows to come up and play tunes for us. I've been in an adventure, Mark knows, and there's
The first family photograph is of a family wedding. These are our ancestors, and I would like to introduce you to the members of the family. Our first photo probably gives the best overview of our family at the time. This is the wedding of my grandaunt Agnes Hanley to John Sweetman of Drumbarra House on September 11, 1895. I don't think there's any mistaking the bride, and this is John Sweetman here. Down here on the right-hand side is John Philip Hanley. This is her father, John Philip Hanley, also known as the King Hanley. Agnes's mother had passed away by this time. Now, up at the top, this is John Philip's brother, Cornelius Hanley, of Crumlin, Dublin, brother of John Philip. Now, her older sister, Madeline, was her maid of honour, so I have to look for her now. She's hidden. There she is, with the feathers in the hat there. And was her maid of honour, and her younger, somewhat frail sister, Tina, was her bridesmaid. So Tina is now, I've lost, here's Tina here, over on the left-hand side. She was quite young when she passed away in 1901. Now, Gran Russell is behind Tina. There we are, she's peeping out there, you can just see her there. An elderly lady, she was known as Gran Russell, and she lived with the family to raise them after the death of their own mother. Now, down at the base on the left-hand side are the bride's 3 brothers. So this brother here is the youngest in the family, the youngest boy in the family, Gus Hanley. Now he was the only one that I knew of the whole group. Up here we have Jim, and very striking resemblance to members of our generation. Jim went to Africa, and here is my grandfather, and we recognise him by his profile. He's looking after the family pet here. Now above them is Leontine José Hanley. So again, I just have to find this little red dot, and there's Leontine José. Now she is the French wife of Con, who is up here. And beside her are her 2 daughters, Agnes, or Auntie Aggie, and her other daughter, I think my grandmother, we think it's my grandmother, Marguerite or Meg. And they look very French indeed, obviously the French mother. Agnes spent most of her young life in France, and above her, my grandmother, Meg, as she was known. Both of them lived out the last months with us in Dublin. Right? Yeah. So the next photo is of the family, this time in the garden, with all the equipment needed for a little bit of digging, clay and all. However, their dress suggests they are more ready for an outing, apart from the lady on the left, with the white shirt. Now, the lady on the left is a lady we don't know. By her looks and what she's wearing, she looks French. There were very strong French connections in the family. She appears socially on a number of photos. Thereafter, she's referred to as the French friend or the family friend. Next to her is my grandfather, Joseph, who went out to